How do I know if I'm in a toxic relationship?
Ooh. Communication is so fucking important in any kind of relationship. Are we actually giving good advice?
That's great advice. What? How do I deal with a racist uncle at Christmas dinner?
The dichotomy.
Welcome back to another episode of Trash Taste. I'm your host, Connor. Once again, joined by the boys, Joey and Garnt. And today our content producer has given us yet another content idea for this episode.
What are we doing, Connor?
What are we doing? Connor, what have you done to Trashbox, Kun? You've killed him.
He's okay. In here is some questions, some advice-seeking questions, some generic ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss potential answers are, what we think.
Wait, we are giving life advice?
We are not supposed to give life advice because we have some of the worst life advice in general.
We need to make sure the title of this says bad life advice.
We give the
This
worst.
is the worst life advice podcast you could possibly ask for.
I wouldn't take the advice of some YouTubers who've been doing YouTube for 10 plus years because they've done nothing else with their life. But if you do want to, if you do want to listen to us for advice, we're going to give you our shit advice on this episode.
that you should definitely not follow.
All right, I'll pull one out, shall I?
All right, pull one out, Connor.
Dude,
what have we got?
Is packed. Oh my god!
Is there this many fucking things people need to know about?
I guess so.
They're dying to hear outtakes on it for sure.
I pulled one out. How do I survive karaoke night when I can't sing?
Okay, well,
I mean, that's easy, I feel.
is that easy?
What's your answer?
Joey, you can sing, so you don't get a say in this.
But this is exactly why I know, because I've been to people who like going to karaoke, but they don't like singing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And a lot of people, especially in Japan, like going because they just enjoy the atmosphere, right? Of just like seeing everyone have fun.
Yeah.
Right. If I had to give bad life advice, drink a shitload.
I would argue that's great advice.
That's great life advice, actually.
Because if you're drunk enough, then you will because I've had a lot of people who I've gone to karaoke with in like big groups, right?
Yeah.
And there's always that one person who's always like really shy, to sing or whatever.
Yeah.
We actually had that at the company party last time because we booked the karaoke room. And obviously, when you're starting off, right, there's only like the couple of, confident people who are like, yeah, fuck it, I'll start singing some songs. And then everybody else is just like, I'll wait, you guys just go have fun. I'm just enjoying the time. You give them a couple of drinks and they're like, give me the fucking microphone.
Yeah, but the thing with Joey is like the karaoke Chad. I know when I go with Joey, like we're like in the room for like 0.1 seconds and he was like, okay, I'm already loading up the song. And he's that motherfucker who has like 3 songs in a row. And the amount of times I've been to karaoke and it's like 2 hours in and your voice is shot. And you put on 3 songs in a row and somehow you power through it.
Yeah.
And
I just really enjoy karaoke.
Karaokeing is about picking a song and be like, will you join me? Will you help me with this one?
Yeah.
Just having a bromance.
The other advice is like pick a song that you know everybody will know, even if you can't sing it, because at that point everybody will know the song. So even if they're not holding the microphone, they're probably going to be screaming it anyway.
Okay, what's that song then? Come on, this is the hardest thing I had to figure out. September.
Yeah. No one knows. No one can sing that, but everybody tries.
No, hitting those high notes is hard. But, but everyone is going to have a good time.
Yeah. Or like any you kind of, what I do is I kind of take a gauge on like, all right, what is the average age of the people who are here? And then I pick a song from kind of that era that you might not know all the words to necessarily, but you've at least heard in your childhood.
Have you done karaoke with like 2 generations difference?
Oh yeah. I've been to karaoke with my mom and my grandma.
That sounds
at the same
awesome.
time, which is great, right? Because like my grandma does like all the old like enka songs like from like the 60s and stuff. Yeah. My mom does all of like the kind of city poppy style like 80s songs, and then meanwhile I'm here singing Asian Kung Fu Generation, and my grandma's like, this is a song.
See, what I've realized is that some of like the obvious karaoke songs aren't as big of like a hit. There's a sweet spot. Like, for example, if I put on Wonderwall by Oasis, everyone knows Wonderwall by Oasis, right? Yeah. Everyone knows the words, but people aren't as like passionate about it.
You know what's the one song that you might think is the obvious answer, but is actually kind of an awkward time? Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's awful.
That's awful.
Everybody knows the song, but no one can sing it.
Yeah.
And it's too many like shifts and everything like that. Like, it's fun to listen to, but when you're in a karaoke setting where like you don't have that one person who's like, I'm going to fucking nail Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
You put it on and everyone's just looking around being like, All right, who's gonna do this one?
The only time I don't like karaoke is when there's someone who can't sing, but they're like trying to like seriously sing, and I'm like, oh.
Really, I find that endearing.
I'm like, well, it depends if I suppose the attitude of the person as well. Like if they think that like they're great.
Oh, they're being cocky about it.
And I'm like,
okay, yeah, that's a little, yeah.
Whereas I'm just the opposite. I sound awful. I'm like, sorry guys, you gotta listen to this.
No, but like, I don't know. I like it when someone who is not necessarily like good at singing actually just, you know.
Oh, no. I'm not saying if you're a bad singer, don't do it. But it's like when people are like, hey guys, it's my moment now.
Yeah. Because if karaoke, if there's one thing that is like universally true with karaoke, it's like no one gives a fuck if you can sing well. Right? Like, even if you're like the best singer in
Actually, I give a fuck.
What, really?
Yeah. Okay. Because, you know, sometimes, okay, so every karaoke session has a different vibe, okay? Sometimes I kind of like it when everyone is as shit as me.
Yeah,
because
I want everyone to be bad.
Because there are some times when there is some, like, we've gone to karaoke with a bunch of people, and sometimes there is like a singer that's like so good that I'm like, I can't follow.
Yeah, like
that.
why am I loading up a song?
I can't follow that. Like, they have like a pitch perfect rendition of whatever ballad they're doing, and then hear me is like, okay guys, I'm gonna sing.
Yeah,
September
it's like watching like an
an
amazing stand up, and then you have to like Garnt goes up and is like poo poo stinky.
No, I like that because like it kind of gives you the confidence.
Depends on the vibe.
It depends on the vibe. Like I went to karaoke with Nano once. And
that would be so much pressure.
She's
for me.
a professional singer.
Yeah.
And you know, she was singing all these other songs. She's obviously fantastic. But then like, and at first I was kind of like, fuck, I have to follow that. That's gonna suck. But then the way I broke her was I made her sing her own song. Because she's never done that before. And then after that, we kind of just like sang it together, and she didn't give a fuck. And I was like, all right, yeah, this is sick, you know?
All right.
So I don't know if we helped with how to survive.
Long story short, alcohol is your best friend. that is the best
Get
life
shit
advice.
faced, and then
Karaoke's
no
just
one
one
cares.
of those things that unfortunately requires a bit of social lubrication.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
Totally.
If you are 90% of the people out there, fuck that one person who's like, I don't drink and I'm never anxious. I'm like, I didn't ask. Okay, man.
Also, that's
I wish that was me. I wish that was me.
Good for you. But most of us, we have to have a beer or two before we can start talking.
a performance-enhancing drug, if you will.
Yeah, I do. All right, next up.
All right.
Another piece of a question. Okay. Oh, it's just a long one.
All right, what do we got?
Oh, how do I deal with a bully?
Ooh, have you guys ever had bullies in your school?
Yep.
Yes, you have.
Of course.
Oh, okay. How did you deal with it?
I punched him in the face.
Did it work?
It did. I've told the story. It was old story on Trash Days.
Have I told my story of bullying as well? I think so.
I think so, yeah. For me, yeah, but like I wouldn't recommend what I did to people because it is a gamble.
No, I fully recommend.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
What, just clocking them in the face?
bro, man. Well, it's because I can remember I was in school, and it's probably the only time in life where you can get in a full-on fist fight and have pretty much like no repercussions, like any serious repercussions. Like if you assault someone as an adult, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
You know, you have a criminal record. But if someone's been a bully to you, I think if you fucking throw hands at them, even if you get beat up still, people just don't want to fight most of the time.
Yeah.
So if they see you as somebody who fights back, they're gonna be like, it's not worth it. I don't want to fucking deal with this kid. Obviously now there's some different, depending on where you live. Obviously in the UK, I feel like it's not as dangerous as some other places. So maybe fighting back is way less dangerous than, hey, for example, somewhere with guns could be a little scary.
Yeah, but what if they have a metal detector that you go into this establishment in school?
Because that works every time.
Yeah.
That's what's flawless. Like, I think that it really depends on where you are, but I think that generally I fucking fight back. Like, if you take it, the bully's just going to see that as a sign of I can get away with this.
Yeah.
Is my belief. But I know that a lot of people believe that you shouldn't do that. But it works for me.
Because it's interesting, right? Because like I feel whenever you hear advice on like how to deal with the bully, it's kind of two opposites. It's either like just keep ignoring them until they get bored of you and they go away, or it's fight back.
I think it's stages. If initially ignore them, don't give them don't pay them any attention. Yeah. And then hopefully if that works, then great. If they just won't leave you alone, I think you got to start throwing hands.
Yeah.
If they're being physical to you as well.
Totally.
But I don't know. Because my dad told me, he was just like, I don't know if he wants me to say it, but he was like, what are you doing? Just fight back. And then that to me was like, oh, I can fight back now. I thought I wasn't allowed to.
I have permission.
Yeah, because I thought like I was a very, very obedient kid, I think, in general. So when I was told I couldn't do something, I was like, oh, okay. And then my dad's like, you should fight back.
I mean, yeah, the only time, that's the only time I've ever punched someone in the face. And that was just because, like, again, like I followed that
oh my God,
two-step process of like, I just kept ignoring.
What was like the camel, the straw that broke the camel's back?
It's when he started like getting physical with me.
Okay.
You know, he'd like invade my space. He'd like push me around.
Pushing's the big thing that bullies do, because it's not like throwing hands.
It's not fighting. It's just like
it's horrible.
Because like the name calling and stuff like that, it's words. You can just ignore it. But like when you start to enter my space, that's when it's like, all right, you better give me 3 feet. You better back up.
Did I tell you about how my first time I ever got in a fight in school?
No.
There was this bully who was just being a dick, and I don't know why. He was just being a dick to everyone. And then one time he said something to me, and I said, your mom is a gerbil. And he got livid. Because I guess it was like the first time anyone had like said back anything.
Your
like
mom is a gerbil.
I was like, your mom is a gerbil. And then the next 2 days was him hyping
name
up.
calling was written in cursive.
I don't know why.
Your mother is a gerbil.
Basically. And then it was like, because this guy was like the troublemaker. The scary one. And so the next 2 days he was hyping up how he was going to beat me up. And so we had English class, and I guess because I'd also been told that I was going to be beaten up. Right. Yeah. Everyone was hyping it up, like that I was going to be beaten. Like
this fight night.
This was literally like, it was like everyone was like, oh, Connor's gonna get
UFC fight night.
Dude,
I'm tuning in.
Everyone was making me scared fucking shitless, because there was 2 days where I had to go home and come back to school being like, holy fuck, someone's gonna fight me.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I'd fought my brothers before, but I didn't want to fight anyone who wasn't my brothers, because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And so we went to English class, and I took my seat. We all had our own individual tables.
Yeah.
And he was in my English class, but he walks in, and I could just see him staring at me, and I was like, and he comes over, and I'm just like looking at the wall. I can deal with this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get in a fight.
Yeah.
He comes over, and he's like, stand up. And I was like, what? He's like, stand up. I was like, okay. So I stood up. And then he punched me in the chest, but I have like the weird chest, so it doesn't really hurt. And then I think I just went livid, and I just grabbed him by the neck and just slammed him down on the table and punched him in the face.
Holy shit.
And then everyone jumped on me and like dragged us off each other. Yeah. So I got stopped. But then I never got any punishment for it.
Damn.
But then he instigated it. Kind of. He pushed me.
World star.
It was basically, but then I got into like so many fights. In that like 1 year, I got into so many fights.
Well, it's because
it was like, what would happen was, and I guess this is.
Wait, well, you went to a boys' school, right?
No. It was a.
Oh, it's a co-ed.
Yeah.
Really?
I guess this is counterintuitive to my point. The side effect of my advice was that then other bullies thought, my turn.
A worthy opponent.
I think some people took this as like, which I guess is terrible advice in this case.
Yeah.
Some people took it as like, oh, but I wouldn't lose to him. Or I wouldn't get beat up.
Dude, you are literally Baki. Like you defeat that one enemy, and then the next guy comes and is like, I heard you defeated that guy.
Well, no. So then it was like different bullies for like different things. It is like backyard. It was just like different reasons why they wanted to like cause shit.
Yeah.
And so then in the course of like 2 years, I think, or a year, I got into like 5 fights.
Damn.
That was too many. But then after that, they all left me alone.
Right.
But
because you beat all of them?
I was very, very aggressive if they ever came near to me. Right. I was like a wild animal, I think. Because I used to get like blind rage.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever had that.
What define blind rage?
Just like in that moment when someone like pushes me or punches me when I was a kid, and I was so like, I was already so angry about it all. Yeah. I just lose it. Like I would have no control. And if you punch me in the face, you're so angry that you don't even like. You don't even
think
feel
about it.
You just because you'll just go.
Right. I've never had that.
I've never had that.
Ever before.
Oh, okay.
That's why they stopped messing with you. You never want to mess with the feral kids.
Yeah, dude. I would go fucking livid on them
because you can't predict that.
I swear I told the story on the podcast. One time there was my little brother was visiting school.
Yeah.
Because I was in high school, and in the UK, often before the next year gets to come up, they get to like have a day or two in the high school to get familiar with it.
Yeah.
And my little brother was coming up, and I was showing him around, And there's other kid who was just a little shit. He would like spit on people. And
Right.
yeah, he was just like, he was a bully in like, not the physical way, but like the torturous, disgusting
petty way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would like, you know, I don't know, like piss on your stuff or something. Or like something gross like that. Yeah, he was a really vile kid. He was disgusting. And one time...
So I beat the shit out of him.
And yeah, my little brother was coming around and I was showing him like, oh, this is where I hang out and stuff. And then like two of these bullies kind of like came up to me and they were talking. And they were like, oh, is your little brother? I was like, yeah. And then he's like, and he started laughing to the bully and then just slapped me in the face.
What?
I was like, what are you going to do about it? And I just immediately just fucking started beating the shit out of him.
I think I do. I do remember you telling this story.
There's like three of his friends who were trying to get me off him, but I was just pounding the shit out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how fucking dare you slap me in front of my brother?
Yeah.
I lost it.
It's like, I ain't no bitch.
I think my brother was like scared as well. He was like, what the fuck?
I mean, I've seen your brothers. They're like, we're like the most chill
I'm coming
people.
to this school. God damn.
So I kind of I like learned a reflex almost when people would like push me or do anything like that. I would just lose it immediately.
Activate berserker mode.
Yeah, because there was, oh my God, there's another time as well where this other kid, I got in like a little scuffle with this other kid and his friend next day came into school and was like, oh, so I heard you try to fight my friend. And I was like, so this is like Becky actually. I was like, no, dude, leave me alone. Pushed me. And then I was like, okay. And so I just immediately grabbed his head and like jumped and kneed him in the face.
Oh, fatality.
And then he fell on the floor. I felt really bad. And I felt really, really bad. And the next day I was like, are you okay? But he had two black eyes.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, man.
I
He started like a fight with me. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, in your case, it's self-defense, you know, so. He swung first, it's self-defense.
It was just like, so that's when the advice I think is kind of bad. It's like, if you're prepared to have a backy situation where you fucking fight everyone. I mean, I got to the point where I was just so done with it all that I would just start fighting anyone. And the reason, a lot of the time, the reason why they would, like, you're probably wondering why would they, you know, why would these people bully you? If you've ever been in school, you know that sometimes there's just kids that are just absolute little fucking shits.
Yeah.
And they just want to cause problems. And I was in like kind of the nerdy group. We would just play games, but it's not like I didn't want to fight. I would fight if someone started anything.
Yeah.
But it was frustrating.
That's why it's kind of like a case by case, you know, like in a lot of regards, it's like a Dragon Ball situation, you know, it's like you either meet that enemy that you beat and then he's like respects you for it. He's like, all right, I'm not going to fuck with you anymore. Or in your case, the Budokai tournament arc begins and you have to fight everyone one by one.
And there was also like, I don't think any of my bullies, the ones that I encountered were, because I'm sure there are bullies out there that love physical altercations.
Yeah.
I'm probably looking for that.
Yeah.
And if you give them that, they might come back to you.
Yeah.
But I knew that all these bullies were just fucking wimps. And they were just pussies that were just like, they just thought they were like,
they thought they could boss people
around.
around.
And I was like, I'm not taking this. Like, I
that's
don't
what
want
it
to fight
is.
anyone ever. But if you start shit, I don't mind fucking getting my face beat up.
Yeah.
If it means that I can land a few punches on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mutually assured destruction is fine with me.
Well, it's always like, what I noticed is it was always like the social hierarchy, right?
Yeah,
it was who you knew.
Yeah.
I didn't play football.
Yeah.
So I was immediately couldn't get in the upper echelons of social society. In
It's
the
like,
UK.
do you have a big brother that is associated with
like a
anything
rough
respectable?
group.
Yeah. Okay, here's a big question. Your younger sibling starts getting bullied. Do you start throwing hands, or do you let them learn the harsh lesson themselves?
No, 100%. I'm going in and beat someone's ass. Like, not even a question. But it's different.
Dichotomy of sister. Having a little sister.
I
and
have a little
brother.
sister, so it's a bit
As a
different.
brother, if you fight your brother's fight, it's it's kind of tough because it's you could almost set him up for more bullying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gonna get your brother involved.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Like,
I think if I had a little brother, I probably might not because of that,
you
reason, right?
Yeah,
Like,
because you don't want to be seen as like
The guy
Yeah.
who just like
like,
snitches.
you
and-
Or
can't
fighting your
do
brother's
anything.
fights
for
Yeah,
you.
you can't do anything without your bodyguard.
But if his
brother.
brother came in, I'll fight his brother.
Yeah, we can double battle.
I don't mind. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I think it's like case by case, but most 99% of people don't want to get in fights.
Yeah.
And don't like being, especially if you have hurt them. It really depends how bad it is. But I think that you can suss it out. But if it's gone on forever and you've tried everything and you haven't fought them, just fucking fight back.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's bad advice.
Fucking Hajime no Ippo all over again.
Dude, I mean, it's the only time in your life where it'll be like fine. So don't worry
Just
about
heartbreak shot.
it. But I'm also really glad because I felt like I learned a lot of valuable lessons. I learned how to I got my anger out, I think. I think I'm not angry. Like I don't hold any resentment towards any of those bullies as well. I mean, they were a piece of shit at the time, but some of them have spoken to me now and I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's whatever. And I think also having at least 1 or 2 experiences where you've been punched in the face is kind of valuable. I think if you've been punched in the face,
it humbles you in a weird way, you know.
You kind of know that feeling. You're like, I'm not gonna forget this. I don't know.
I don't think anyone forgets the first time they got punched in the face.
I mean, it kind of makes you. I think a lot of people who grow up to be quite aggressive adults never got into a fight, and I think that's because
because they had all that pent up.
Yeah, you just think that hey, you never got punished for showing this aggression or anything like that. But if you get beaten up as an adult, it's obviously a lot worse. One thing you have to consider, right? If you're a kid and you get punched to the ground, falling to the ground as a kid hurts a lot less than falling to the ground as an adult.
There's a lot less body mass to worry about.
There's a lot less
shorter distance.
If you've fallen on the grass, you've been punched to the ground or been tackled. Yeah. It's a different ballpark. When you fall on the concrete as an adult, it is like really fucking
it's
bad.
devastating.
But getting to those kind of altercations,
I don't even need to be in a fight. I can just trip over some uneven pavement, and that fucking
you could die.
You know?
You can literally die. Kids can too, but you can be roughed up a little bit more as a kid. By other kids, obviously not by adults, but if you get in a fight as a kid, generally. You'll be all right. You might get, it's very hard for another kid to really fucking brutalize the other one. I'm not saying kids should fight, but if we did, I would want to bet on it. I'd want to, come on, let me in on this.
Yeah, I'm the adult sitting on the bench being like, which one's going to win?
Listen, I'm not saying I understand, but if I was a teacher, I wouldn't break it up. All right. I'm just.
It's the most entertainment I've had all week.
I'd break it up with the kid I like sleep. No, I'm kidding. If the bully's getting beaten up, I am 100% waiting an extra minute.
A lot of times it feels like it is a respect thing. So, it's about showing that, I don't know, it's about not giving the bullies the nice feeling of knowing that it affects you. But if that doesn't work, then...
Just showing in any way that you're not a fucking pushover.
I mean, not only did my bullies not bother me anymore, they also left all of my friends and most of the other people alone. Because I think that they were like you. Well, I think that everyone had kind of saw them in a different light once they had been
I see.
Once I just fucking smacked them in the face.
Yeah.
I think everyone was like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking loser.
So
and he kind of stopped. So I was like, okay, I'm a hero.
So there you go. Trash taste advice on bullies. Beat their ass.
Disclaimer, that worked for Connor.
Absolutely will not work.
Works for me as well in a weird way, but
I was also a dumb kid and I didn't mind getting hit in the face. So I, absolutely can't do that now.
Let's see.
What is the next one?
The next piece of advice to give is how to figure out how to pay my bill.
Okay. When did you guys
like we
figure
should have a sponsor read for this one. Thanks to X Service.
I don't know if I have figured that out yet.
I still haven't figured that out.
Okay. When you are becoming an adult, that will be the easiest time in your life to pay bills. That's when you have you've got 3 things.
Yeah.
Maybe you got a Netflix subscription on top of it. It's when I've gotten older and older, I'm like, I have what tax I got to pay for? There's what? I have residence tax? What the fuck is that?
When I first moved to Japan, and I was a lot smaller YouTuber, the only thing I had to worry about was, so there's the rent, there's electricity, there's gas, there's water, and there's internet. Easy. I can pay all of those. I get the slip in the mail. I pay it at the combini. But nowadays, I'm just like, I ask my accountant, I'm like, so how many bills do I have to pay? She just gives you a fucking stack.
Yeah, it is.
It's just all of these. And I was like, I don't even know what half of these are.
It does feel like at the moment you become 21, 22, you suddenly just start losing $100 a week on something. You're just like, what did I lose? I swear I wasn't going to spend this money, but it's just gone.
Yeah. When I was working my job, I was so many videos being like, you should budget out your expenses. And I was always that guy who was like, I don't need to fucking budget out my expenses. I know what my expenses are. I know what my bills are. Yeah. And then as you get to the end of month where you look at your bank account and you're like, how the fuck is it that number? What the fuck did I spend money on?
It's what are all these transactions that I don't remember paying for?
I have no idea how much money I make or how much tax I've paid. I have no idea.
well, yeah, I have an accountant for a reason.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm like, is it bad? He's like, it's bad. I'm like, fuck. I have no. I genuinely.
The only question I ask my accountant is, "Am I broke yet?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Cool."
Well, I think there's a difference for someone like us because in our position where we are technically freelancers who have a lot of different sources of revenue. But, you know, when most people working a contracted job will have a certain amount of income coming in, and it's those expenses that can really, really creep up on you. And I'll be honest, I don't know what the best advice for this is because everyone I've talked to is just like, I hope I'm paying my bills or most importantly, submitting my taxes the right way. I don't even know if I am. You know, I didn't know if I was. I didn't know if I was.
You're not in jail, so I think you're doing all right.
Yeah, I did my taxes myself in the UK.
Yeah, same here. I did my taxes myself
because I spoke to an accountant, right, and. I went to a meeting with an accountant, and he was in this really nice office. And it was all really fancy, and I was like 20. And I felt very out of my depth. And at this time, I still kind of at that age where I didn't really trust people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially people in suits.
Especially with your money as well.
My money and people in suits telling me I should be spending my money this way, and I'm just there like. Yeah. And in this meeting, he said one thing that really like stuck with me. He goes, "So you know." We can do taxes in different ways, but you know, you can also do it yourself with the money in, money out. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, at the end of the year, you could just type in, for example, like how much money you made versus how much that went out. I was like, oh, I'll just do that. I was like, no, you shouldn't do that. You should do it with us so we could do it. And I was like, no, I'm good. So I just did it that way for like 3 years. But that was back when I was making like there was like I was just the YouTube check-in, rent and other stuff or whatever it was.
Expenses out.
Not rent, sorry. Whatever it was out, which was barely anything back then.
Yeah.
So it was like my editing software, a new microphone. This is really easy to file these taxes. Taxes are so easy. Why is everyone complaining? And now I'm like, oh God.
No, totally.
Yeah, I also did the same thing, but I don't know. I don't remember how I learned it because you just go through the forms.
A lot of guides.
The guides did fuck all because you would click on like, oh, what does this term mean? And you'd get like a 3-page article of what that term means. And you're like, does this apply to me? I don't know if it applies to me or not.
I got really lucky because my mum's job for like the past 20 years is bookkeeping.
Yeah.
So she just taught me everything. She was like, all right, this is how you file everything. This is how you load up your expenses. This is how you do all the taxes and stuff.
I never claimed expenses, barely, like any, for like the first like 2 years.
Oh, me neither.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I lost so much money.
I didn't even know that was a thing you could do.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does tax return mean? Like, what the fuck is that? I never got taught this shit.
Yeah, this shit is complicated. I remember in university as well, I used to have a spreadsheet where I kept every single spending I had.
Really?
Yeah, to like the penny. And I would keep track of it all. And it was actually very helpful.
I was too broke to care.
I didn't have a lot of money at all, but it made me feel like I almost had more money when I kind of felt like I was controlling it, even though I was probably going to spend the same amount no matter what.
Yeah.
But it did feel like when I had to input how much I spent into the thing, it made me second guess maybe dumb purchases.
Wait, so can I be doubly sure? What is a tax return?
You're asking the wrong person, brother.
Well, I think
is it the form that you send back to tell them how much tax you owe?
No,
okay.
I thought tax returns were if you've overpaid.
Okay.
And you've like filed like
what is a tax return?
Because a lot of the way accounting is a lot of
a tax return is the completion of documentation that calculates an entity or individual's income earned and the amount of taxes to be paid to the government.
So that is just the tax document you filed to.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I thought for the longest time I thought that thing where a tax return was. I'd heard these urban legends that sometimes the tax man gets it wrong and you get some money back.
Well, no, normally you just because a lot of at least how the UK and Japan works, you pay the projected income you're going to make.
Yeah.
Right. So then it always gets adjusted based on what you're making.
Yeah.
If it's your freelance, it's freelance only. So the UK, they would always adjust it. But you'd have to like pay a fuck ton the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like advance.
Yeah.
Because the first time in Japan, I had to pay like 2 years worth of tax, like up front. I think near the end of the first year or something. It was crazy. It was a lot.
Right.
It really says a lot. We're all in our 30s or around our 30s. We just learned what a tax return was.
Well, so I wanted to doubly make sure because I remember this because when I started in the working world, right? So when you get a salary,
this is a very American word though. I didn't hear this a lot in the UK, but
I heard
this
it
a
in
lot.
the UK.
You did?
Yeah. Because I still did YouTube on the side, even though I was working at the BBC. So I was told, oh, you have to do your tax return. So me being a dumb motherfucker, being like looking at my bank account every month, waiting for some money to come in for that month, and I would get notifications, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I haven't gotten my tax return yet." And then it was like the final month that I had to submit this tax return document because you have to like, even though I got like a salaried amount, because I had like a side thing, I would have to do the tax return for that side
Separately,
gig
right.
separately. So I didn't know that. So I was just like me being a dumbass, waiting every month and looking at my bank account to see if it would go up for like,
come on,
this glorified tax return. And I was just like, why is this not coming? Yeah. I almost just missed the date of the tax return because I didn't fucking know what it was.
Yeah.
Every single person who has been doing taxes will just tell you, just get a fucking accountant. They'll save you money.
That's
and sanity, most of.
Yeah.
But I was fucking broke, so I couldn't afford one.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, Connor.
Yeah, I was broke. Well, that was when I first started my business, when I was barely making enough to make rent.
Yeah.
But also, accountants often pay for themselves, so
Yeah.
you should definitely get an accountant.
Yep, just get an accountant. Don't worry about
It's also
it.
the thing you don't want to fuck up.
What?
Taxes.
Oh, yeah,
It's
of
the
course.
one thing you don't want to
You go to
fuck
jail
up.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Have you ever met a YouTuber who's been audited?
No.
I've met a YouTuber who's been audited.
Really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because he told me he was doing something fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Not paying their taxes.
There has been a...
I've known a YouTuber that's been audited.
I know
Really?
a YouTuber's been audited. I know a YouTuber who's been done for... I won't say who. I think it's publicly, but I'm pretty sure there's a YouTuber or two that have been done for not paying their taxes.
Well, like tax fraud.
Not fraud.
No,
They were
it's
like, I
literally-
didn't know I had to pay taxes.
It is literally most like now that I think about it, I know
There are a shocking amount of YouTubers who are mainly new ones who
Yeah.
didn't realize they had to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. And didn't realize you had to file a tax return because
Yeah.
you're self-employed.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
know what the fucking I
Just goes
did
to show how like badly educated generally we are on
taxes.
taxes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
it took me half a year to realize I had to pay taxes. But I paid it at the end of the year. But I remember asking my dad, I was like,
Right.
I earned like £500. Do I have to pay taxes on that? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh. He's like, you won't get taxed anything. We have to file it. I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
still
oh,
have to
okay,
do it.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need more fucking education when it comes to our taxes.
Yeah.
It was,
But like I hear this argument all the time of like, oh, they should, instead of teaching like the
To be fair, a lot of-
Pythagoras theorem in school, they should teach kids about
they
taxes.
should.
a lot of schools actually do teach you about tax. But a lot of people don't fucking pay attention.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if we had like a curriculum in like high school, for example, of like, this is everything you have to learn about taxes, dude, kids are going to be falling asleep in that class because they just think to themselves like, oh, I'll deal with it when I'm older. And then when they get older, they're like, fuck, I should have
If
listened.
you live in I don't know about Australia, but in the UK and Europe, if you have a salary job, it's taken out of your salary.
Oh,
Yeah, it is
Which
taken
is
out your
like
salary.
fucking Giga Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't need
Good.
to worry about
Fuck
it.
Oh, same in Japan
Yeah.
as well.
Oh,
If you,
really?
if you work for a
yeah,
company,
yeah.
then all of the taxes and expenses get immediately
It's
taken out.
awesome.
So you don't have to deal with
Yeah.
it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I think we should be fucking taught as well: mortgages. Like this is the same kind of financial thing where
Ain't gonna
you know,
lie, boys. I
get-
still don't know how a mortgage works.
I know how it works, but you throw me some terms and I'm like, what? I don't understand.
So let's get the record straight. What is a mortgage?
a mortgage is a loan.
Loan.
It's a
A
loan,
loan, right?
It's a loan.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got that
Yeah.
right.
You are asking for money
Yeah.
Yeah.
over a long period of time.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So
And-
so it's basically like, say for example,
You
if
buy a house,
Yeah.
the house is the bank pays for it.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
you are slowly repaying the bank back at a
Yeah.
very
with
fair
interest,
rate.
right?
With interest.
Yeah.
Generally,
So
mortgages.
it's like a bank loan on a house.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
just a
Right.
loan, but specifically for a house.
Okay.
And
So it's just-
normally there are laws. The government has laws around the interest rates and what they can be because it's in the government's best interest to make
Yeah.
sure that this specific type of loan, the mortgage, is generally affordable. Like
Right.
the idea is that everyone should be able to get one.
Yeah.
Obviously, in practice, that isn't the case. And as we've seen in the 2008 financial crisis, it isn't
Yeah.
always managed well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's basically meant to be a pretty good loan, like a fair,
Yeah.
very fair loan.
Like a
So
fair
often,
loan, yeah.
Often, like if you go to a bank tomorrow and you're like, I need 100 bands, and the interest rate will be crazy.
Right.
It'll be pretty high unless you're a business. and then you can negotiate a very fair term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're an individual, you walk in, you're like, I need 50K. They will absolutely destroy you on interest.
Yeah.
Same with like credit card. A credit card, you're loaning the money.
Yeah, yeah.
They've already paid it for you. Then you pay it back. But the APRs can be like insane.
That's APR is just like the interest per. What does it stand for again?
I don't know, but I know it's interest. Like, and if you borrow $1,000 and the interest rate, the APR is like 25%, they're gonna absolutely kill you. And
What does APR stand for? Can you look it up?
Yeah, because here's the thing. I feel like conceptually...
Annual percentage rate.
Annual percentage rate. I feel like conceptually it's understandable, but you throw in all of these terms. I remember when I was trying to get myself knowledgeable on mortgages, because I was like, maybe I want to buy a house in like, in like a few years or something.
Yeah.
I should probably get myself knowledgeable about it. I watched like a half an hour, 45-minute video, and I was like, I don't get it. And then I watched like a 5-minute short, like a minute-long short, just like without the bullshit kind of like terms and everything. And I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
It's just so much term. Like I kind of had a similar thing, when we started up Nonsense. Like obviously I didn't know how the fuck to run a business.
the difference is that it's yearly.
Oh, I
Right.
see. Yeah, well, annual. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I was starting up Nonsense, like I had to learn about all of these like fucking business terms and everything, and like my business partner was trying to teach me all this shit, but he's just throwing out all these business terms, and I'm like, slow down. You said about 17 words in that sentence that I don't know. Like I didn't know what the fucking ROI was.
Return of investment.
I found out afterwards. But I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But even then, I was like, I'd never heard of that term, so I had to look it up.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TikTok's financial advice that's just fraud?
Wait, what? No?
There's so many TikTok financial advice, and they're just fraud. Can you go on YouTube and type in TikTok advice that's fraud? There's so many TikTok advice things that's just straight up fraud. If you type it on YouTube, there should be some compilations of them. Like there's some people who are like borrowing against there was one that was like someone was borrowing thousands of dollars and it was the collateral was their life insurance policy. And they were maxing out the life insurance. I guess
Coffeezilla did some videos.
There's a ton,
Yeah.
And there was one person that was like, they were like, you should open up a company, get a credit card with the company, max it out, file the company as bankrupt. You don't have to pay any of it back. People are like, dude, that's fraud. Yeah. That's just fraud. What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
There was some people who were like, max out a bunch of credit cards on a business account and open up Airbnbs. But if you can't get the business account maxed out, like make a fake credit card, credit score or something. And it was like, this is just fraud.
That's fraud.
These people are advertising
Oh my God.
them doing fraud. It's insane.
Not the first time we've seen people just break laws on TikTok and present it as advice.
It's insane.
And
it's like, obviously fraud works if you get away with it, but that's illegal.
Yeah.
It's like going, here's how to make $100. Go to your nearest coffee shop.
Pull out a gun.
All you need is a gun and a ski mask. And then,
Well, actually, don't take a gun, because if you get caught, it's armed robbery. And
That's
actually
true. That's true.
But there was a article that said that most Americans now get most of their financial advice from TikTok.
Oh, that's scary. Please do not do that. Please consult an actual professional for that. That is some actual good advice you can hear from Trash Taste. Consult a professional for your financial tips.
Yes.
Don't go onto fucking TikTok.
Dude,
Jesus
there's so many
Christ.
people that like... It's actually 42%
Oh my God,
of Gen
that's
Z.
scary.
Gen Z, sorry.
That's
Gen Z.
scary.
I think the reason why is because, investing and all that stuff is typically the most fucking boring shit on earth.
Yeah.
And it's not a sexy thing. It's like, hey, you'll get a bit of interest. It'll compound.
Yeah.
There you go. Like everyone just wants to make the most money possible.
Yeah.
Whereas
No one wants to think 10 years, 20 years ahead.
Yeah.
me included, you know, it's your brain just doesn't work that way, especially if you are, especially if you don't have a lot of money and you want to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait fucking 10 years.
I don't have the capacity to, you know, think about 10 years when I'm worried about, fuck, am I going to be able to pay rent next month? You know,
exactly.
You're not in that kind of mindset.
Well, I think that's also maybe the reason why some people are in that mindset.
Sure.
They have a lot of money and they see other people on TikTok saying, here's how you easily get rich.
Yeah.
But the problem is if someone is telling you how to get rich, you're too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The person telling you is getting rich from telling you and you falling for it.
Yeah.
So.
One thing that fucking, you know, terrifies me is definitely like loans and using money that is not mine.
Yeah.
I know there's like different types of
I
loans.
didn't have a credit card until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's like insane to me. The more I grow up, the more I feel like financial behavior that I think is normal. Like, hey, you use a credit card and you pay it straight away. Don't buy anything that you can't afford.
My credit card is like a direct debit, so I don't even have to pay it. Like my bank automatically does it.
The more I grow up, the more I've realized, there is a lot of people who just does not have those same financial like lessons drilled into them, because there are an uncomfortable amount of adults that I know that just spend money and don't really think about the consequence of it.
Yeah.
And I've like, as someone who's always thought about it, when you know, especially when I was in fucking university or whatever, I've met some people, a lot of people my age. I remember one guy in university. He got a student loan and then he used the loan money to go on holiday. to go on a holiday.
Why would you do that?
And I was just like, what? How are you doing this? Why would you do that?
I think because there's some people are just so short-sighted where they just say, oh, I just got a lump sum of cash. Well, I'm rich now.
Rich baby.
Rich baby.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So life advice, please you don't have to think 10 years ahead, but just be responsible with your money. And if you need financial advice, don't go on to fucking TikTok.
Pay off your fucking credit card.
Pay off your credit card, consult a professional.
Get a credit card to build up your credit, but just pay off your credit card.
As Pete says, we pay in full.
Pay in full, exactly.
Pay in full.
All right, next one.
All right, next one. That was a long segment.
Jeez.
Oh, shit. All right.
Chuck me the trash taste can. I want to have them near me.
Whee!
How do I know if I'm in a toxic relationship?
Ooh.
Have you guys ever had a
Toxic
ever known
relationship?
someone who was like obviously in a toxic relationship and they didn't know about it?
I don't know.
I think often if you're the one in it, you're normally the last one to figure it out sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends how it is. It
Oh,
really
no,
depends.
I do know someone actually.
Yeah. Okay. I have been in a toxic relationship.
Right.
Me too.
I did not know.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, because I think that makes me a bit more empathetic whenever I see someone who is very obviously in a toxic relationship, because only by being in one did I realize how easy it is to get used to just a toxic life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's surprising how much the mind can transform this environment around you to make it feel like it's okay and you're used to it. And a lot of the times it's like you see the end situation, but you don't see the journey it is to get there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And normally it starts off with like one little thing that you like, you know, you kind of like think about is like, that's a bit weird, but you know, I'm gonna ignore that.
Maybe it was a one time.
Yeah, maybe it was a one time thing, and then slowly like it builds up, and then it builds up, and then it builds up, and then you don't know how toxic it is in that moment until you are able to like, I guess, take a step back.
Yeah.
And view this from like a third person perspective.
Yeah.
It's like the frog boiling in water.
Yeah.
It's like you don't feel the temperature rising, but you just kept climatizing to every change in temperature.
Yeah.
Because it's so slight.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, you're like, holy shit, wait, this is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a good.
Yeah, I remember like I had a friend who used to live in Japan who was in a relationship with this girl, and you know, we could see from the outside that this girl was being very not cool to the dude, right?
Yeah.
Like he was kind of taking it. You know, and we didn't want to judge, you know, maybe he's like, oh, okay, you know, maybe he's cool with it, blah, blah. But what really struck a chord with me was that one day he like came up to us and he was like, yeah, so I need, you know, what do you guys think of her? What do you guys think of this relationship I'm in? And I'm like, Well, there has to be a reason you asked that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was good friends with him. So, you know, we were honest and we told him, like, yeah, she's being pretty fucking toxic to you. And what really broke my heart was when he said, oh my God, okay, I thought I was the crazy one. Because
you always think it's you.
Yeah, because he thought it was him. He thought he was the fault. And, you know, that he thought that this relationship that he had been in was just like, oh, this is what it must be like for every relationship.
Yeah.
And it really broke my heart when he said that. And he finally, like, realized it, and he was like, all right, and he did something about it. They broke up, and he's a lot happier now, thank God. But
yeah,
it was pretty heartbreaking to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of signs of a toxic relationship. I think I can't remember when I got used to like daily toxic behavior, because in my relationship it was like not daily at the beginning, but it slowly like crept up. And I remember thinking for the longest time, I was like, I am the bad guy. I can do better, right? Because I feel like that, like my, let's say, positive outlook on life was taken advantage of, and I was like made to be like, oh, I'm the issue here, you know?
Yeah, because if they're like really angry or sad, you're like, oh, it's my responsibility or my fault.
Yeah, I must have
I must have done something wrong.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you know, I feel like I was not close at all. Like it was, I was put in an environment where I couldn't talk to my mates as often as I normally would. You know, I look back at this and I'm like, this is classic. Classic.
Yeah, like isolate the person.
Yeah,
right?
isolate the person. And so all I could really do was just be like, oh, I'm in this by myself. There's no one else to help me. And I think what made me realize it was just I just had a breaking point. I didn't really realize I was in a toxic relationship. I just realized that I couldn't fucking do this anymore. You know, where you just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. And
there's this weird thing that happens in your brain sometimes when you're in a relationship where you're like, you just like convince yourself, I just can't exist outside of this.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And then when you get out of it, you're like, I'm a moron.
Yeah.
Why did I think that like I just couldn't be in this?
Yeah.
Like it's so insane. You know, because then when you're just vibing alone playing video games, you're like, wait, this shit's fucking tight. Yeah. Like, why did I think that like I had to be in this weird shit relationship?
Yeah.
And I would say like my best advice for anyone who might have an inkling, because there is a big difference between like, let's say a toxic relationship and having like a healthy disagreement or argument with your partner. Because arguments can always happen. And I feel like if anything, arguments can help strengthen a relationship.
Yeah,
at some
absolutely.
points, you know? But there needs to be a give and take, right? There can't be one side that is always the bad guy or always in the wrong.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought I am the bad guy, but it's okay. I can fix myself and that will make the relationship better. And I got lost in this kind of world of just like spiraling down because I couldn't make this relationship better, that meant I was a worse guy than I thought. And it just spiraled down because I thought, shit, I must be the shittiest fucking partner in the world if this is like what my relationship is like. And that's the trap, right? To me, being in obviously a toxic relationship and a very, very healthy relationship, there should be an equal trade on both sides. You should be comfortable saying what makes you uncomfortable to your partner, and they might not always agree, but you can talk it out and they will respect your opinion and they will listen to you.
Communication is so fucking important in any kind of relationship. And it's like, if you're afraid to communicate anything, then I think that's a pretty big red flag for any kind of relationship, toxic or not. So yeah, you know, just if you like, you know, if you love the other person and they love you back, then they'll be willing to talk to you about anything, and just getting your points across in the best way that you can, and having a mutual understanding and respect for one another's opinions, whether they agree with it or not, I think is really, really important for a healthy relationship.
Yeah. And I think if you see a bro going through a toxic relationship, don't be afraid to ruffle feathers, to just ask them. Just get it done. Just ask them how, like, if they're doing okay. I remember going through days where I would like secretly hope someone would just like ask me, and then nobody did. And then I just had to like pretend, no, okay, it's okay, you know. So that's my best advice.
Wow, are we actually giving good advice?
Okay, that's actually great advice. All right, I'm gonna pick the first one. It's at the top.
All right.
What? How do I deal with a racist uncle at Christmas dinner?
The dichotomy. The absolute dichotomy.
Oh, God.
What the?
Well, we got to first ask the question just on this table.
Yeah.
Do any of us have that racist uncle?
I don't think so.
My uncle's a chill.
Maybe not racist.
Yeah.
But you know that uncle. I think
Out
on
of
both
pocket uncle. Maybe he just says shit, or maybe he's into something a little weird that he shouldn't be into.
Yeah.
something like especially on my side and Sydney side as well.
Well, yeah, you've got like 30 uncles.
Yeah, I've got like 30 uncles, right?
One of them's found to be a strange.
I've got a fucking huge family on both sides, and not necessarily racist, but they will say some out of pocket things a lot of the times. And you're all like, uncle, what's
So how do you deal with that?
I mean, listen, you're not going to change their life in one Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah.
I think you just like, uncle, we disagree. Shut the fuck up. Let's have our Christmas meal.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah, you're not going to change your... Yeah. Bro, if the dude's got to like age 60 and he has those beliefs or something, it's game over. Bro's not changing.
He's got that for life.
Like, that is just that's a thing,
Yeah.
you know? Like, that's just that.
How do you deal with your uncle?
Honestly, the same way I deal with, I think we had this like kind of like same conversation the previous episode. The same way when I deal with anyone who says something out of pocket, I just am curious about why they think that. And I honestly, I just love having conversations, even if it's like about the most out of pocket thing. I'm just like, why the fuck do you think that? just like. Why, like, and you can tell just by talking to people, sometimes when people cannot get their mind changed, but sometimes you dig a little deeper and you're like, well, you know, you think this way because of this reason. Yeah. And I understand that, but, you know, have you ever thought about this certain thing or, you know, this thing that you might...
I think you're too forgiving because, like...
I think it's impossible to change a 50-plus-year-old.
Yeah, I don't think any amount of like communication or like, you know, battling it out with like different points of views on subjects can like change a person, especially at that age. I think it's really difficult. Like, you know, it especially depends on how out of pocket it is. If it's like a little bit just like, oh, okay, that's a bit of a weird take, then, you know, maybe I might entertain it by like trying to talk about it. But if it's like fucking egregious and it's like whoa, okay, you know, you don't believe the Holocaust happened? I can't save you, bro.
Okay, that's never happened.
Well, I'm sure there are some uncles out there who think that way. I'm sure there's some people out there who think that way, and it's just like at that point it's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to say to like try and change your mind, right? Like, I don't even want to entertain this conversation because I know it's probably going to get heated, and at the end of that conversation they're not going to change their opinion on it.
I don't think I'm going to change their opinion. And I don't think a lot of the times I, you know, completely made them turn a 180.
Right.
But I feel like you lose a lot by not even engaging with some, you know, with some people, right? Because I feel like, number one, even if I disagree with something, I actually understand what the other side is thinking. And number two, you get to get a little bit of understanding on both sides. And that makes that, like, by understanding opinions on the other side, it makes me understand whenever I see some comments on the internet or someone who has left a tweet or something, I'm like, okay, I can probably understand how you got to this point. A lot of the times it's not anything to do with that topic. It's something to do with maybe their upbringing or maybe some kind of anger that they have in their lives has led them towards a certain way of thinking. And to me, that just makes it easier to communicate with people with opposing views and understanding. I think and I just find it interesting. And I just find it interesting.
That's fair.
But I don't have a single uncle that I don't get along with. Yeah. You know, I think that's the biggest thing.
I get along well with all 47 of my uncles.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Let's see. Let's see the next one. God, these are some heavy topics. All right. Let's see. How do I focus on my dreams/goals?
Just do it, innit?
It's a grind set.
Drugs.
DMT.
Walter White didn't stop for nothing, and neither should you.
I guess the way to rephrase this is, how do you stay motivated, right? Like, how do you stay focused on what you want to do?
I mean,
I don't know. How do you guys do it?
it's so tough.
We have goals. We have aspirations. Do we not?
You're competing against other people that have motivation.
Yeah.
Nobody has the motivation. Nobody has motivation.
That's a lie.
Wait, where did this come
I
from?
know some motivated motherfuckers out there, Garnt. Don't quit for nothing.
Get up at 4 a.m.
Get up at 4 a.m. You think every
Watch your wife get fucked by your wife's husband.
you think every gym bro wants to wake up every day and fucking grind and run?
I think though that's like the gym can be an addiction the same way that work can be an addiction. I think they're all just different facets of life that we can become obsessed with.
Yeah.
I think that yes, it takes a lot of self-control to go to the gym, but it's also something you can become addicted to with whatever it is, whatever drives you to go to it. So I don't necessarily think that like I don't know. It's a hard thing. Addiction.
How do you stay motivated then? You personally?
Me? Money.
There's a thing called bills I have to pay.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like I want to be able to grow and support others. And for me, that requires me to be better at what I'm doing and keep doing it well so I can bring on more people and support more people and hopefully give them really fucking cool, easy jobs that are like, hey, just rock up when we're ready. Go fuck around for like a week. I got nothing for you to do. Yeah. And then be here for a whole week next week because I got a lot for you to do. I don't know. It'd be fun. I just like the idea of being able to grow and support people around me, be it family, be it whatever. So I just like doing it. Also, I'm horrifically addicted to making stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Well, you were saying, addicted to work. Like I think three of us are definitely in that camp.
Like I'm addicted to telling stories in my own weird way.
Yeah.
And I like doing it that way. But it's not always that easy. It's, at one point it was purely voice acting and another point it was this. It was like, how do you ensure that you see success in whatever you do? And that's hard.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, I think the important thing is you probably don't. I have about like 50 things that I want to do. And then I just have this filter system where if I don't, sometimes I start something and then I don't finish it. And then I do this about 50 times. But the few projects that I do ended up sticking with, or the few things in my life that I ended up sticking with, was because I stopped doing it, but there was just like this nag in my brain that was like, no, until you finish this thing, I'm not going to leave you. And this nag would just continue and continue.
I used to have that. That's been a habit I've had to kick, I think.
Really?
I think it limits you.
Why?
Because I think you can only focus on one thing. Some things require you to. This is the worst part in life. It's like the same with like studying. That's why I hated studying growing up.
Yeah.
In studying, you can't just fucking 16 hours degenerate, like do it all. Studying you have to do over the course of multiple weeks.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
It's a habit you've built up, and that's just fucking boring. Because you're like, I'm not getting the immediate feedback of finishing it. I have to keep trying it.
See, I'm kind of the opposite because like I want to do, I'm like Garnt where I'm like, I have so many things I want to try in my life before I die. And if it works out, then cool. If it doesn't, then I'll just try and move on to that next thing. But I like the slow progression. I like seeing.
The guy was saying that he wanted to focus on one thing only.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm focusing. I'm at this point in my life. I'm focusing on like fucking so many. Things,
I know. Yeah.
And so like I kind of like seeing like I don't need the immediate results, but I do like seeing like the status bar like slowly increasing like day by day. You know, like I like that feeling of like yesterday compared to yesterday, today my status bar has grown. But even if it's like by a fucking micro,
like learning things takes generally a long time.
Yeah, I love learning new things, and
I wish I could do 12 hours of everything and get it all done.
Yeah, totally.
All of the time you have to come back to it.
Yeah. Like for me, I think the best advice I can give in terms of like starting a project or a dream or something that you want to work towards is obviously I did YouTube and shit because I wanted to have a stable job and a stable income, for example, and it was cool. But there was, I planned for the possibility that this would not have worked, that I would have had to go back. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it, and I focused so much fucking time on trying to make this work for myself. I feel like I had a project recently that I spent a lot of time on, and I don't know if it's going to get off the ground, or I don't know if it's going to be a success or whatever. But I stuck through and I finished it because I was like, no matter if this is good or not, I want to do this because I want to learn, and also I want to see this project through to the end. If it sucks, I think it's all
But then I'd argue that you've been doing a little bit of everything. Like even though you said you want to focus on one thing, it sounds like you were focusing on a lot of things. YouTube, this thing.
I mean, I focus on one thing at a time.
Right.
Like, you know, I focus on YouTube at the time, and then I focus on Trash Taste and live action videos. There was always like a new kind of like thing that I wanted to do.
So I think you are focusing on a lot of things.
Yeah, you are focusing on a lot
I mean,
of
I'm focusing on a lot of things.
because
but
it's not like you quit
It's
your
not like
channel
I pull
to
up
do
4
this new
monitors
thing.
and I'm like working on all 4 of them. I'm like, I have to like, it's okay to work on something, it not be complete, and then you have to be like, I'll come back to this. I gotta.
Oh no, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because for me, you know, like I said, when I was like focusing on YouTube, I had a full-time job. I had a full fucking time job. And
Well, because at the end of the day, passion doesn't pay the bills, right? Like, and it still has to be paid, even though you have all of this passion towards this one thing. You need to figure out another thing you have to do at the same time in order to just get by in life, right? So I think, you know, it's kind of unavoidable to be working on multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like the balance of like, okay, how much of this do I want to prioritize in my life versus these other things that I need to be doing in order to fucking pay rent next month, you know?
yeah,
like,
the best I can do is that I know I would get a project done is, you know, when you're a kid and a new game comes out and then everything about your life revolved around mentally playing that game.
Yeah.
You could be in school and you're like, I could be playing this fucking
You're
game
like
right now.
strategizing what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
get
yeah,
home.
exactly.
You're like, I'm gonna do this boss in this order.
Yeah.
Actually, I might do.
that's me right now with Persona 3. It's like I could be at home playing it right now.
Like, I knew I had an idea that was going to stick whenever I'd be focusing on something else, but my mind would always be, I want to do this or I want to do that. And that's when I knew I found something that I really, really fucking wanted to do, because it would not leave my mind no matter what else I was focusing on.
Yeah. Also, my other piece of advice that I've kind of stuck with my whole life is like, you can never have too many backup plans, because, you know, like you have like dreams and goals and aspirations, right? But, you know, life doesn't always hand it to everyone, and you know, you might not be able
love
to
stories
see it.
where someone YOLOs it.
Huh?
We love hearing a YOLO story.
We love
Where
hearing a
someone
YOLO
fucking
story, but
YOLOs it on the
Yeah.
craziest dream, and you're like,
it's scary though, man. And if you don't, you know, if you don't want to be in that you know, potential position of you threw everything, every part of your life into this one thing that may or may not work out, and it ends up not working out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you need a backup plan for your life. So I think it never hurts to have too many backup plans.
what always blows my mind is how many people, like, one of the riskiest industries to start is like a restaurant. And so many people open restaurants.
yeah, that makes
and
sense.
it's really hard to have a restaurant. I think, man, fuck.
It's so, especially in Japan, it's so
Like,
fucking
yeah,
competitive.
Like Japan or America,
Yeah.
just like so many people want to open a restaurant. It's just kind of like,
I want to open a restaurant.
you do?
I do.
I kind of want to.
It's
Yeah.
daunting because it's one of the highest turnovers of businesses,
Yeah.
restaurants, because it's just so hard to make
Yeah.
a restaurant profitable for a long period of time.
Yeah. I have huge respect to my dad, because I feel like I took what my dad did as a restaurateur for granted, because
It's just hard.
it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It is very hard. And the restaurant industry is constantly evolving as well. You always, you know, before all you needed was good food, and now, especially in like big city areas, you need a good food, good concept, and something new that isn't already.
But now I feel like we're going full circle again. Like when I go to London and everything's too polished, I'm like, this shit's gonna be mid. And I eat the food, I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. I want to go to like the dirtiest fucking Indian store around the corner where all the menu is that like shade of yellow on like the screen, and you know that shit's gonna go so hard.
Sure.
And it's gonna be like third of the price.
Yeah, if I were to open up a restaurant or a cafe or anything like that, I want to be one of those places. Yeah.
That's the concept in itself, you know.
Yeah.
That means you are making a conscious choice to be like,
Yeah,
all
then,
right,
yeah.
all right. The aesthetic I want to go for is rundown kind of.
I think
like
I think
street
I'd
food.
want to. I think personally, I would want to like open up some kind of like cafe or something like
I'd love a cafe.
when I'm retired though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And mainly for me.
Yeah, where it's
people
like
want to come and help.
Yeah,
support
I
my
don't
cafe.
care if
Yeah.
this place makes money. I just want to do it because I think it seems fun. And I think like during like I've said this for years, but like when I retire, I want to open up a record store.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
You know,
hell
because
yeah.
like that's just like a vibe that I can just,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't care if I make money. This is just something for me to do in my retirement, and it'll probably be fun. You know,
Yeah.
probably be chill, right? But
You don't care if you make money until you still got to
Yeah.
start paying those bills.
until you start, well, at that point I'll have the retirement money, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to open a bar. There's-
that'd be
I'll
sick.
be sick.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Next up.
Next up.
Good luck on your dreams and aspirations, whoever you
Yeah,
are.
you can fucking do it.
You can do it.
Don't give up. Unless
Do
it's a shitty dream.
Should I confess to my crush?
Go for it, bro.
Nah, it depends.
Nah, it
Really?
depends. It depends,
Depends.
bro. It
You just-
depends.
Bro, you got to know when you're the one being crazy.
Have you ever confessed to your crush before?
My first girlfriend, yes, I did.
So she became your girlfriend.
She became my
So
girlfriend.
that was the only time you've confessed.
Well, yeah, because Aki confessed to me.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, Joey, as someone who's speaking from a perspective, I've confessed and it went badly.
Yeah, I
I
have
can tell you it's
confessed.
not, always the
Really?
right
It's-
it's not always the right thing to do.
In fact, if you're thinking, most of the time that I know, if you're thinking about confessing, that just means you have no chance.
Yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah,
It worked for me.
Well, good for you, Joey. Mr. Survivorship
If I was
bias.
Joey Bissinger the fifth, perhaps I'd have an easier time.
I'm the sixth, excuse you.
Oh my god!
Get my fucking prefixes right, god damn it.
No, I remember the first time I fucking confessed.
Don't fucking confess.
Yeah, it was in year 8. I was in year 8, and it was like the first. This is like the most teenage story that you could ever think of. It was like the first girl that ever really held a conversation with me.
Sure.
And I was instantly like, wow, I like this person.
I love her.
I can't imagine my life
That's
without her.
That's such a year 8 mentality.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh my god, this girl talked back to me. She is the one.
She's in love with me.
She is the one. And I remember, oh my god, I think back, and this is so fucking cringy. Like I think back, and every time she was walking to school, I would like fucking run up next to her and just like talk to her because she was like the only girl I knew how to talk to talk with.
That's so cute.
And like every day I would be like, you know, I would talk to her as much as possible. And then her friend was like, oh, do you like her? And I was just like, no. How do I process this? How do I process this as a little year 8 kid? I think I do. I don't know. What does liking a person mean?
And what do they say?
And then she's like, and like before I could say like, yes, I like her, the girl goes, don't worry, I'll handle it for you. And then and then I will never forget this moment for the rest of my life because it was like lunch. It was like lunchtime, and me and this girl, her friend, were sitting on like the opposite side. We were like standing on the opposite side of the cafeteria. She goes up to the girl, and then says something, and then the girl just goes. And I just this is like a core memory for me.
Oh god!
That's so
And
painful.
I will never forget that for the rest of my life because I think that scarred me for a while. I didn't talk to like that. That was like when I stopped talking to like any girl for like ages. And then she comes back to me and she says, yeah, she'd rather just be friends. And
Damn.
yeah,
So that didn't end well.
that didn't end well.
I confessed to a girl on MSN one time when I was like 13.
How did that go for you?
Well, the worst you could say is no, right?
Yeah.
Well, the worst you could do is tell everyone in the fucking school.
Oh no!
Probably contributed to why I got bullied.
Right.
Yeah, they got made fun of for a while. That I liked. Like I was like, "Hey, you're cute. We should."
How old were you? 13, you
Like
said?
13 or
Yeah,
14.
yeah, dude.
Which is like
Yeah.
peak worst age for this to happen
yeah.
because everyone's
Yeah.
fucking brutal about it, and it's like the hottest news on the street. They fucking printing it on the
I
presses.
think you being in like middle school or high school might be the worst time to confess to anyone because like if you confess to someone as an adult, everyone is like sympathetic enough to you where you're just like, hey man, it's all good.
No, I disagree.
Next
I
time.
disagree.
Nah.
But kids are fucking
I
ruthless.
was forged in iron because of that. No rejection ever in my life could compare to that.
Right.
Because what if I confess to someone else? I'm not going to be made like the village idiot for the next week.
Right.
So I feel like that was a great learning experience.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. As an adult, I
Yeah.
think it's a little bit easier. Like if you confess to someone now, right?
Yeah,
you
but
won't be like the clown of the town because you confessed
But
to
I
someone.
think it made me more like I felt like less embarrassed when I do tell someone, hey, you want to go out on a date or something?
Right.
Yeah.
When I was an adult, because I'm like, can't be worse than whatever fucking happened to me when I was 13. And we made fun of by the entire fucking village.
So you guys are both in the camp of you shouldn't confess.
No,
if that's the case, then what should someone do about it?
Die. Kill you. No,
Get over it, motherfucker.
So if they like someone, right, and
Yeah.
but they don't know how to express their emotions
Listen,
to
if
someone,
you're under
what
18,
should they do?
if you're under 18, yeah, confess. Fuck it, find out.
Right.
It'll be a learning experience. If you're an adult and you're like over the age of 20 and you want to confess to someone,
You probably
you probably
fucked
misread
it.
the room.
The best thing I could, the best advice I can give is probably just stop contacting that person. Just like completely cut yourself out for a while, because there is no way that if she doesn't see you as a romantic partner, and you confess, there is no way confessing is going to change her mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of the time, if if you're like over the age of fucking 16 or shit, you kind of get a feeling if someone likes you.
Yeah.
You know?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But there are people who are completely unaware. Like Joey.
Yeah.
Joey.
You can't tell.
I
but
can't
I think
tell.
that, you'd pick it up.
I fucking didn't.
Well, you also, I mean, you got in, you were like first girlfriend. All right. How about life together? So I mean, you didn't need to learn.
No, not really.
No,
But I was so fucking unaware during school of like girls who liked me.
Well, I was unaware because no girls did like me.
Yeah.
This is
we're in the complete opposite
not the
camp,
same, Joey.
I'm sorry.
There were no girls that liked me.
I had girls.
It was me liking the girls,
Actually,
Joey.
another terrible experience. I had somehow, by some insane miracle, and this is like I managed to, a girl in the year above had kind of liked me.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like, this is unheard of in our school. This doesn't happen. An older girl who likes a younger, and this is
This how it started. This how it started.
This probably started it all. And we were like in a relationship, and I felt like the hottest shit because I had an older girlfriend in school. I was like, yeah, guys.
And this is where the MILF journey started.
And then like a week later, she was too embarrassed. She broke up with me.
Oh, damn.
So then I was like, I did not have a good run with relationships in school. I was getting destroyed left, right, and center. But that made it easier when I was an adult because I was like, you can't hurt me.
Right.
I've been through social pariah stages. I know what this feels like.
I've been through public execution.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone through the whole shame.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever had like an awful like first date with a girl back when you were in school or some shit?
I never went on dates. Did you ever go on dates? I couldn't
Well,
afford to
because
go
if
on a
you
date.
see them at school every day, you don't really need to.
I couldn't afford to go on a date.
I don't know, in like sixth form college.
When I was 16, I went to go and watch the last Twilight movie with a girl, and I hadn't watched any of the Twilight movies. But I was like, well, that's what guys got to do. They got to watch Twilight. And then,
This is not what you did.
yeah, I watched because she wanted to watch Twilight, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to go because I like her.
You got to walk the path of the thorns to get to the roses, you know?
And I did not enjoy Twilight, and didn't really
What a
leave too
shocker.
much. So I was kind of like, well, that was a waste of time. But it's a good learning lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I remember taking a girl to the cinema as well. I forgot what film I watched though. I think it was like, I made the fucking worst decision of all time. I think it was, I knew it was a film that was not suitable for first date, but this was like my very, very first date I've ever been on. I was like a teenager, and it was like something like Borat or the In-Betweeners movie that we like that kind of level.
Hey, babe, I have the perfect movie to get us in the mood. Hello, man.
All I remember thinking, I don't remember the film. All I remember thinking was there was like a dick in this movie, right? There was a full-on dick in this movie. So it was either Borat, Bruno, or the In-Betweeners movie. So one of those fucking movies. And I remember, like, I was having a great time, by the way. I was having a great time. It was fucking bants. But I remember going out afterwards. And then,
She was like, not amused.
and then I was like, oh, do you want to go out for dinner afterwards? And she's like, no, I'm actually going to call my dad now to pick me up. And I was like, okay.
You didn't like the cock on the big screen?
No.
there?
I'm never going to forgive Borat. One time, like 5 years ago, I wanted to watch Borat because I was just like, I just want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was available on YouTube to rent.
Right.
And I didn't want to pirate it because I was just lazy. I was
Yeah.
like, just take my $2 and let me
Yeah.
rent it. And I open it up. It was in like 480p. And I couldn't put that any higher. And ever since I've been pissed off at Borat at the movie. Because why the fuck would I paid money? I couldn't watch this thing in higher than 480p.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I was like,
Even like DVD rips are better quality.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
But I remember my friend, when we were, our best mate, we were like 14. And I guess for like, when did Bruno come out? For Christmas or something, his mum bought him Bruno.
Right.
She didn't know what it was.
How old were you guys?
I think you were like 14 or 15.
Oh, God.
And
2009.
how old was I in 2009? I was 13. Oh my God.
Oh
yeah.
my God,
I think I was
yeah.
like 13.
Yeah.
He bought it and I went to go watch it at his house because I wanted to watch it because it was all like everyone was talking about it at school because they were like, oh, it's so bad. So I went to go watch it and his dad walked in and just sat down halfway through and was watching it. And it was so awkward to be sitting there as a 13-year-old with your other 13-year-old best friend and his dad. And he was kind of laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
But you were like, this is weird, right? The guy keeps talking about like dicks and stuff. And you're like, I don't know if I.
Is there a whole scene where he does like the meat spin?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, my parents would fucking kill me if they knew I was
dude.
watching this. But it was very funny.
God damn.
A core memory that I'll never forget.
All right, to end that segment, don't confess to your crush.
Oh, yeah, right, that's what we were talking about?
Yeah.
I forgot. All right,
Ask them out on a date. That's way less pressure.
So
Connor was too blinded by rage with Borat.
I'm just gonna pull out another one, boys.
All right, go for
All right.
How do you tell a bro they are gaining weight? Ooh.
Ooh.
Joey.
I mean, last year I was the heaviest I'd ever been, and
I was kidding, by the way.
No, I mean, I was the heaviest I'd ever been, just because, I wasn't working out. I was eating like shit. And the bro that told me that I was gaining weight was my own father.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, your parents always have a strict, if you've been skinny or thin your whole life, your parents are the first to fucking tell you if you're
dude. Yeah.
even remotely bigger than that.
I don't know if it's an Asian fucking gathering, Asian family gathering. You will know from about 10 different aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
Just any kind of weight change, and that's how I know.
Well, 'cause I if I thought you were getting like too big, I'd be like, Joe, you're getting a little big.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But if you weren't, you were like totally normal, I'd say.
Yeah, no, well, that's because I was like fucking emaciated, skinny, and
You were really skinny.
yeah.
right?
When we all first met, I was mega
Yeah.
mega skinny, and then I gained quite a bit of weight to the point where like I wasn't like fat,
No.
but I was fatter,
But what if,
If
you?
my mate was getting a ton of weight, I think I'd be like, hey man, you good?
Yeah. Well, because I was the way I think it.
What's
like,
going on?
What if your mate was going through like a Nikocado avocado? At which point do you step in and you're like, bro, what's going on here, man? Are you good?
I think I would
Yeah.
start saying something to the point where he's like actually physically really starting to change.
Yeah.
This is something as well that obviously it really does depend how you grew up,
Yeah.
what kind of environment, people you're surrounded by. I grew up in a very, very sporty family, all about doing exercise, all about eating healthily. So to me, it's like my perspective is very different from someone who maybe grew up in an area where maybe, you didn't do exercise or you couldn't afford to buy groceries. You had to eat more fast food. And this is kind of a tough topic to talk about because depending on where you live, maybe people around you all are technically overweight, but it's the normal. So how do you talk about it then?
Well, to me, it's like most of the time that I've found, if you gain like a lot of weight quickly, most of the time there is something else going on, and because like
Same with losing weight as well.
Yeah, same with
If you
losing
lose
weight.
too much
Yeah,
weight
yeah.
quickly.
Because I'm like, if my bro is gaining a ton of weight and he's happy, I'm like, fucking good for him, man.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, and you saw this a lot during COVID, you have some close friends or families that have
put on a few pounds.
that have put on a few pounds. Me too. And what was the reason for that? Because we were fucking depressed and we were bored and we didn't have anything to do.
Sometimes, like I said, when I look at the first few episodes of Trash Taste, where I think I can tell I look skinnier.
Right.
Not that it matters, but I'm like, damn, I was a lot skinnier.
I think I look back to the beginning of Trash Taste and I was like, damn, I was like too skinny back then.
I think we were all skinnier at the
I
start.
look back at the first episode of Trash Taste and I'm like, that is the worst haircut I've ever had in my life. I look like a bum with my fucking long ass hair and the ponytail. God,
No, I look back
disgusting.
to OG Anime Man videos and I'm like, damn.
Dude, I was so skinny.
What the fuck?
So skinny. Now I'm like, I think I'm sitting around 71 kilos, which is like pretty ideal for my height and weight. But like, I know as well, growing up in a Japanese household, I will never be the ideal weight. Because Japan has such an insane standard where I'm just like, my cousin, right? My older cousin who is like, you know, I think 99.9% of people look at her and go, all right, you're a good weight. Like, you're not like mega skinny, but you're not mega fat either. Like, you are healthy. And she's always complains to me being like, I need to go on a diet. I'm like, no, you don't. You're fine. Like, stop fucking listening to the Japanese standards because you could be like 25 kilos and you'll still be too fat for this country, apparently.
It's always tough. I mean, gaining and losing weight is always a stressful thing as well.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older.
Yeah, and also I think, you know, if your friend expresses that they want to lose some weight for whatever reason, you should always be supportive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is tough though. The older you get, it's fucking hard. Yeah. Especially if you go out with friends often or something, it's tough.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the mindset. Maybe it's just a mindset, you know? It's just when we get older, we're less willing to sacrifice the things that make us comfortable.
Streaming has made me gain weight. I was like 80 kilos for like doing exercise and stuff for like 2 years. And then like this year, I think I streamed a lot more than I ever have. And I put on like 5 kilograms and I was like, I feel it. I just feel heavier.
Damn.
I've been trying to get it. It's such a slow process.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, all right, I'm losing it. And you're like, all right, go to Vegas now and fucking drink and hang out with friends for a week. You're like, oh.
You put that all back immediately. Yeah.
That's the thing that's hardest. When you hang out with mates, that's traveling. It makes it almost impossible.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make it tough.
Totally. And especially for us last year as well, we did so much traveling just for Trash Taste, right? So like
traveling's tough. You have to have such discipline to work out while traveling.
Yeah.
It's not the discipline for me. Whenever I go to a country, I'm like, okay, I need to try food.
Yeah,
I need to
totally.
go food.
I go crazy.
Yeah.
I go fucking
Because I'm like, I am in this specific country where I really like this one food. I'm going to take advantage of that as much as possible.
Oh my God.
You tell yourself travel calories don't count, and then the reality sets in when you get back home. You're like, oh God.
I wish you're like, okay, one day traveling, you have to eat one day healthily. It definitely feels way easier to do one than the other.
Definitely.
All right, next one. Just going to pull one out. Oh. How to have good taste in anime. Okay.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as good taste in anime.
There is no such thing
Everybody
as good
has
taste.
shit taste according to everybody else. So just watch what you want and don't give a fuck.
All right, moving on.
All right, moving on. Give you one.
Give Joey one.
I want to pull one. How do I get better drip? If you go to nonsense.jp, you'll find the most impeccable
Why did you
quotes.
pick that one, Joey?
So please, by all means, head on. Or if you get the Trash Taste stuff, which you can't get anymore. But the next one we drop is pretty good. All right, next one.
Generally, though, I think how do you get better drip, Joey? How did you learn? How did you learn, Joey?
I think the sad part is you just have to experiment, and a lot of guys
have to experiment.
are not willing to.
I mean, you know, when I was living in Australia, there was no like drip culture or anything like that. At least that I surrounded myself with.
Yeah.
I learned what I liked from Aki because she had a much better fashion sense than me. She's like, oh, I think you'll look good in this, or you look good in this. You try some stuff out, and if it clicks, then cool.
Yeah, I think the main difference is that generally a lot of women are very used to experimenting with fashion and styles, and men are not.
Actually,
so much.
that's great advice. Get a female friend.
Yeah,
you know.
No, legit.
And if you don't,
dudes that have great sense, they're gone.
Legit, the best way is to just have. It doesn't even have to be female. Just get a friend who clearly has a better fashion sense than you, and just get them to help you experiment.
When I did the stream at Glam, I had Rin help as well, but also the designer of Glam, who has immaculate drip.
Yeah,
and he was like, "This looks good on you," and I was like, oh, I don't feel like it does."
Right.
But that's just because I almost didn't want to like it because I'd already found the style I liked and I wore it.
Well, that's what's important, right? It's like drip at the end of the day. Yeah, drip at the end of the day, at least from how I see it, is like it's obviously, you know, if you're wearing something and someone says, yo, that looks really good on you.
Yeah.
I think that's just as important as you in your head saying, yeah, I look good in this.
Yeah.
Because like if you
tell
don't,
your friends they look good in stuff.
If you don't like, even if someone goes up to you and goes, yo, you look good in that, but you don't like it, then I don't think you should pursue it.
Yeah.
I think it's all about like having the self-confidence to be like, I look good in this and people will like what I'm wearing.
See,
and that's kind of how I figured out like that for me was streetwear.
See, my problem is I hate shopping. I just despise shopping.
Why do you think I started my own clothing brand?
Yeah, but the thing
I
is,
never have to shop for clothes ever again.
But the thing is, right, because like I have like one drip style, right?
Yeah.
And that's something I figured out when I was like a teenager, or not even a teenager, when I was like going through university.
Sure.
Because I literally just had a day where I just asked a bunch of female friends, just like, hey, can you help me go shopping? And it was just like my kind of like cheap method into, you know, trying to socialize a bit more. And I was like I literally ticked off 2 check marks. I was like, okay, go out and socialize, learn how to socialize, and also get better drip.
Right.
And that was how I've, that's
2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
So what's the style then you would say is like you?
I don't know, like smart casual kind of like style.
I agree.
Turtlenecks.
Turtleneck and chains.
Turtlenecks, chains, you know. And I figured out this one style that I look good in and I feel comfortable in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I never need to do this again because I fucking hated that day. I just, like, to me, I hated the process of just going out and spending an entire day just like trying different things.
Yeah.
And I know some people love it. I'm just not that fucking person.
No, same.
You know?
I feel like we should just bring Rin on. She's great.
Yeah.
She'll
Yeah.
tell us all the fashion stuff that we have.
Yeah,
flashed
totally.
us to.
It's that whole philosophy of like, is the man wearing the jacket or is the jacket wearing the man? You know, like it's like
What is that philosophy?
in the sense of
The fuck you saying, Joey?
in the sense of
What is this, a
what
Rick
I-
and Morty like parallel universe?
What I mean by that is when you're wearing something that is like fashionable, because obviously fashionable is very subjective, right?
Yeah.
It's that whole idea, at least from how I see it, is do you look good because of this particular piece of clothing that you're wearing, or are you making the clothes look good because you're in it? You know, and I think that is very, very different. I think it's that whole idea of drip is just as important as like someone looking at it and going, that thing you're wearing looks good, or you look good in that thing. But also having self-confidence in yourself, being like, yeah, this is the style I like. I feel good. I think I look good. And I think that confidence array is really, really important when talking about like drip, right? Because like you can wear like fucking Louis Vuitton and like all these like expensive like drip brands, but if you don't feel confident in it, or if you don't like wear it out, then I don't really think there's much point in it.
Wish I could pull off a trench coat.
You can't pull off a trench coat?
I don't think I look serious enough.
Have you tried?
No.
Well, why not try it out?
The main reason is because it's too damn hot in this country.
Well, now's the perfect time of year to do
yeah,
it.
it's
I wish-
winter.
If I ever go back to the UK, I'll get a fucking trench
Yo,
coat.
why don't you wear one here?
I don't know.
It's perfect weather to wear a
I
trench
just feel
coat.
like I don't look serious enough.
What do you
I
mean
gotta
by
carry
serious
a
enough?
briefcase around and a hat. I think trench coats look so fucking sick on people who wear them.
Yeah,
I gotta pull it off.
I reckon you could pull it off.
I just want a guy tell me what to wear. I saw this like service in Korea where some people like booked out this, let's say, like drip experts, and they will like literally give you different clothes to wear and try out. And I'm like, that sounds like a service I need, man.
That actually does sound like a great service.
Yeah, right.
That actually sounds like an amazing service.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, boys, you've never asked, but I can do that. I can be that man for you if you want.
yeah. The color palette clothing, like Korea clothing
Yeah.
service. It's like,
Oh wow, this is like serious.
Yeah,
shit.
they have,
like
science
serious.
behind,
There's
like,
science
okay.
behind
your
it.
skin
I can't do
tone.
that.
And I was like, I can't. I might not go on another shopping day, but I will take this, please. I need more variety in my drip because I know how to pull off like 3 colors.
I like when they're like, you should have autumn, winter thingy. I hate that shit. I'm like, I just want winter and everything else. Like I will figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to have I don't want all these clothes that I don't wear all the time in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want something that I have to wear in fucking winter, or something that goes over the clothes that I always wear, which is
Yeah.
winter. Like I put on a coat or a jumper. Now I'm winter ready, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just buy trash taste drip and no nonsense.
and nonsense.
This shit is all round, baby. All round, baby.
All right, what's the next one?
The correct way to act in a job interview. Because we have the best
Oh,
advice
yes.
on this.
I've been in a
I
job
think
interview before.
at our age we are like, we have collectively had like the least job interviews of any 3 adults you'll find.
I don't know. Okay, I think we
You've
have
had a few.
Actually, we might have a bit more. I think we might have a bit more experience in this than we think, because we have hired on. We have been on that other side.
We've been on the other side.
We have been on that other side where we've hired for trash taste and we've done job interviews. Thank you very much, Kai.
Yeah, we got to get Kai on to be like, so how do you act? How did you win our hearts, Kai?
Yeah. I don't know.
Kai was just chill with it.
Kai was just chill.
I'm kidding.
I saw his muscles and I'm like, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I have some employees, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. we're the other side. So I think we can
mean,
offer a introspect on the other
I mean,
side.
for me, from the
what
other
do you see?
What do I see?
Yeah,
I
what
got
do you want to
rejected
see?
from like 15 job interviews.
I got rejected from McDonald's. I have no right to
Yeah,
say.
true.
Yeah, I got rejected from a call center and a missile company, but I think that might be unrelated.
That's because you draw a dick.
Yeah, that's I drew. Don't draw a dick.
Don't draw dicks.
Don't draw a dick in your job interview. That's one of the most important things. I guess. Aside,
If there's one thing I've learned is that job interviews are fucking awful at telling me how good someone is at their job. In general, like I feel like it's so hard to get a read on someone.
I think it depends on what types of questions you ask or you are asked at in the job interview, right?
But
Because just being like, so are you good at socializing? Are you good at team building? Are you good
I fucking ironically, I thought this was a meme going into every job interview.
Yeah.
Oh, good communication skills. Good. And like the more you work in a fucking, in an office job or even any kind of job, do you realize how fucking important communication skills is? Because it is one of the hardest things to find in most working companies.
No, but what I'm saying is those questions, I get why they ask those questions, but you can't get a sense if you're the person, interviewing someone, you can very rarely get a sense of just how good someone is at these communication skills just from this one interview.
Yeah.
You need to be as Connor said, you need to be already in that work environment to kind of get a feel for okay, this person does have good communication skills or doesn't have communication skills. Because you can fucking cheese it on an interview and just pretend you have it, but maybe, that's just like a one-time thing, right? Yeah. So
one thing I will say is, going from doing job interviews and, having job interviews for whatever position we're hiring for. The one thing that landed me, the one big thing, aside from technical knowledge, of course, if you're going for a technical role, make sure your technical knowledge is on point. But aside from that, one thing that always stuck out to me, going on the other side, is that I like to know that the person has a personality.
Yep.
Definitely. It's the little things that can sometimes make you stick out a little bit more. So I like the big thing that landed me the job interview or the job at the BBC. So we did all the normal usual shit. Oh, are you a good team person? Are you good at these technical skills? You have these qualifications, tested on that. And then they saw my CV. I had YouTube experience, and they asked me about that, and then we got on to a good 15-minute conversation, nothing to do with the job, but just to do with YouTube, the modern media landscape.
They just want to see that you're a competent individual and that you can
and see how much you can actually talk about it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, we've done a few job interviews, and obviously every person meets those same qualifications. And now that we have experience with that, the thing that stands out to me the most is knowing that one, actually having hobbies and an interest outside is a big plus.
Oh, totally.
Because as much as you see the other side as just this faceless corporation, there is still normally a human being at the end of it, unless they have outsourced it.
I do get kind of worried when people tell me they don't do anything. I'm like, does nothing make you passionate?
Yeah.
Does nothing drive you? Yeah. Because I feel like that's almost a reflection of, how you feel if you're doing work or something. Because it's hey, if there's something that you can't even do for fun, then you ain't gonna fucking do my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just important to kind of get a vibe check on the person themselves, outside of any work responsibilities, to be all right, I know that you have all these technical skills, but can I vibe with you, or can my team vibe with you just as a person?
But that's I think our experience is more, our industry is very different. If we were talking about working in a government, I'd be don't fucking show your personality.
Yeah, we don't. We don't have any experience on that, so we don't know.
I feel like from my experience there, it's very easy to hire someone who is very likable and very open and very willing.
Well, I don't know, because even in a very technical, even in a very technical position, you could have 10 applicants that on paper seem like they will have a similar amount of technical skills, right? And I feel like just having that edge of just number one, having things on your CV or mentioning things in your job interview that shows that you have an active interest in this industry or in this kind of field, without that has nothing to do with the specific technical qualifications, you know, like having a hobby that's, you know, if you're going for a computer science or like a coding kind of like a coding position or something, then have you ever programmed anything out of your free time? Have you developed a game or anything like that? I feel like that gives you such a big advantage to stick out and just like, number one, stick out from a lot of other people that might have your same qualifications, because God forbid, this is a very, very competitive field right now, or competitive time. And number two, it can make you more personable as well.
Yeah.
If you have something passionate that you talk about, then that's just going to make you more memorable.
Have a passion, have a hobby.
I've always been of the mindset that as long as you're a social person and get along with people, you'll be all right. Stuff will figure itself out.
Yeah.
As long as you're not a piece of shit as well.
But I think as well, like, as Garnts said, like having a passion, having a hobby,
It's important.
just it really just like makes you already just in and of itself a lot more of an interesting person to want to
I almost find that like you really get to see someone's true colors when they talk about their hobbies.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, someone who obviously in a job interview, if I ask them why they're qualified, they'll give me all the spiel. But if I ask you, hey, what's this deal with you building Gumplers? Tell me about it. You know, they can really show their passion for something.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more telling almost.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I can figure out what I want to bully them for. So this is great. I don't have to do the research. I'm kidding.
Toxic boss. So I have blackmail, bitch.
Do you agree, Malin? Did we give any bad advice that we need to delete?
It's different.
It's different. All right.
It's different.
All right, Malin, the actual boss, says it's different. So,
Hey, I'm an actual boss. We're all actual bosses.
yeah.
Yeah, different experiences.
Yeah.
Different experiences. Okay.
Correct way to act on a first date. Chill. Fucking chill.
It depends on the person you're with.
Joey, tell us your advice.
I don't know. I'm one of those people who are just like,
Read hentai.
I'm gonna unapologetically be myself, and if you like that, then cool. If you don't like that, then sorry.
Okay, Joe, you take someone out on a first date.
Sure.
What are the few basic things you must do or must not do?
You know.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a scenario. We go out for dinner. We go for a movie, and it ends. That's gonna be it.
Okay.
What are the things that you're gonna do 100% and you're not gonna do?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm gonna be like, do you have some time afterwards? You know, like maybe we can give some suggestions, right? Like make sure that you know what you're doing, right? Be confident. You know, like we could like, oh, you know, do you want to go to a cafe or go to a restaurant or whatever, right? And if they're receptive to that, then cool, you go there. I think the one thing, and this is not even just in like dates, I think this is just with like even any platonic relationship that you have with someone. I think showing an interest in any way by like asking questions to like whatever it is that they say is like always a big plus. Because like, you know, if you, for instance, if I'm on a date
I hope
with
you'd
you,
ask questions. It's the first date, Joe.
yeah, if I'm on a date with you, right, and we're at a restaurant and you like, you know, mention something that you like, instead of just being like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
To be like, oh really? Like what is that like?
Yeah.
You know? And like never bringing yourself into it unless asked.
It's always easier to, when you're talking to someone new, people always have an easier time talking about what they're into and what they like. So keep asking about that.
Yeah, keep asking. Like, make sure that like asking questions is so important because it tells the other person, oh, they're interested in what I have to say. And that's always a good sign.
So Joey, we've had our dinner.
Yeah.
It's going great. The bill comes.
Yeah.
What are you doing? How you handling this one? This is always a
Well,
contentious topic.
It depends on my current financial status. If I'm a broke college kid,
okay.
then. And you know,
I look at the bill. It's
yeah.
150 bones.
150
You racked it
bones.
up.
All right. Well,
You racked up that
First of
that
all-
wine you shouldn't have gotten.
yeah.
probably.
First of all, I like during this conversation at the restaurant, I vibe check, right, to be like, okay, are they the type of person that expects me to pay for everything,
Nah, I'm splitting the bill.
or are they cool with splitting the bill?
Okay,
And then
okay.
I discern that, and whichever one I think is the answer, I ask. So if they're the kind of person who's like, or you know, it also depends, I think, as well for me, how much I enjoyed myself during that time, right? If they were kind of
Okay,
boring,
yeah.
I'm splitting the bill. Like, I don't give a
So
fuck.
cruel.
I don't give a
love
fuck.
it.
Joey.
I'm like,
Why stop there? Make them fucking pay for it.
no, I mean, I won't do that. I mean, unless they were like really shit to me.
Just,
look,
just-
I believe. Look, I believe in equal rights. Right? If you give me, if I'm on a date with you and you're being a real bitch about everything, then I don't give a fuck. We're splitting the bill.
Suicide comes out.
But if I had a really fun time, I'm happy with paying for the bill.
I'll always pay the bill. Always try to. Me personally, I believe as well. If I even invite my friends out, like
Right.
I'm like Joey, Garnts, let's go for dinner. If I invited you, I feel like I should pay.
Sure.
Because I'm the one who instigated it.
Right.
But I would hope in the back of my head, I'm like, I hope she offers to split it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
But I'd hope that they would offer to split, just so that in my head I'm like, nah. But that's nice. No, I'm gonna pay it though. I'm gonna pay it because that way I feel like, oh, okay, good. Like,
Yeah.
they were prepared.
I mean, it's a good test. I've never been on a first date in the adult world, only in like the kind of like, I don't know, teenage world.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's
Yeah.
completely fucking out the window. But you know, I would think, right, that if the person is very, very not okay with splitting the bill, then I probably would not be okay with them as like a romantic
exactly.
partner,
Yeah.
you know?
But I believe in even though it's outdated and whatnot, I think being a gentleman's all right. I think I don't mind paying the bill and doing all that stuff. If it was beyond my means, I would probably try to go to a restaurant.
You're saying that
yeah,
because
yeah,
you
yeah.
have like a comfortable job and a comfortable income.
No, but even when I was I had no money, I would always pay, and then every single time afterwards, I'd be like, "Fuck's sake."
Well, yeah. I mean, I was the same too when I had no money, but at
Yeah.
that point, I would again do the vibe check.
Yeah.
I'd be like, was this worth me paying for the bill? Then okay, I'll pay for the bill. But
Because you could potentially make a roadblock there where there wouldn't need to be one, right?
yeah,
What do you mean?
Like if the date's going great, you could just cause a little bit of a friction there by making it a problem if you did.
Yeah.
And there can always be something on like but for sure the second or third day, I expect them to offer half.
well, yeah.
Because then it's like, come on now,
Yeah.
this is becoming a regular thing. Come on, let's figure a system out
I'm
here.
not your ATM, all right? Like,
Yeah, I remember the first time when I came to Japan, I went on like, because remember when I had like no furniture or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be in my apartment.
Sure.
I was trying to go on as many dates as I could because I just wanted to. I also wanted to, I was in Japan. I wanted to date a little bit.
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
I remember the first like month, I was like, holy shit! I spent way too much money paying for all these bills. Jesus Christ! I can't keep doing this.
See, you should have. See, in the case with Japan, this is the perfect country where you're completely okay with splitting the bill.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of.
Yeah,
'cause,
but-
this is the country where it's like you don't want to be too greedy. You want to be considerate of others. And from my experience, like with having Japanese friends, men or females, like that most of the time they are completely okay with splitting the bill, especially if it's the first time, because they don't want to be like a burden to you, right?
All right.
Might be different in other countries
That's
and
fair,
cultures.
that's
I don't
fair.
know, but
What-
from my experience, that's what it's like here.
What do you not do in a first date then?
Shit yourself.
Generally, the agreed upon the agreed upon things to not do is to don't talk about politics, religion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Generally a good thing, but also it's okay to vibe check someone.
I mean,
on some
it's
stuff
a-
because if you're gonna be with them,
Yeah.
I'd like to know right away if they're a wacko.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get to know them as best as possible, including some of the stuff that we might disagree on, because there are some core
I
values,
don't know.
right?
I feel like if they're a wacko, they'll just say it without you even asking.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah.
yeah.
But some people are very good at not showing that they believe in some insane shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure you've come across.
I
something
mean,
like
it's
this,
not just like first dates. It's like
Don't-
just people around us.
don't.
Right.
The number one rule that I would say is don't talk about prior relationships.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
bring it up.
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't
that's
bring it up.
Big red flag there. Don't talk about star signs.
Don't talk about star signs.
don't talk about star signs.
I think you need to like set the expectations of like who you are in a sense. Like if you're like willing to make jokes and stuff, just make sure you like don't change who you are. Because some people like they are like 180. Like,
Okay,
I know some dudes who are like
here's the thing.
when they're dating, it's like a different person.
Yeah,
Hanging
here's,
out with
here's the
person.
thing, because sometimes I get into this kind of like debate with myself, and this doesn't just apply to first dates. This applies to just meeting someone for the first time in general.
Sure.
Like, do you go full in 100%? This is you, and all of your quirks and maybe weird sides of your personality, or do you, the first time you're meeting someone, calm it down a little bit? Not exactly change who you are, but just maybe dampen the quirkier sides of you.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because sometimes I say stupid shit, so I'm like, before I say all that, I want to like kind of vibe check.
I think if I was unapologetically like 100% me, and I went up to someone, meet them for the first time, and it's just like, you should see my Twitter likes. I don't think I'd have any friends.
That's also just being considerate. I think. I think being respectful of new people you meet is just a good life advice in general.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then when you get close to someone, you can start bantering a bit more and have that kind of
exactly
kind of back and forth a little bit.
And hopefully by then, like the other person will have like liked enough of you to the point where you'd be comfortable with saying maybe some like weirder sides of you, and they'll just be like, but that's just him. That's just him. It's whatever. It's cool. You're still cool with me, type of thing. So it's tough. It's a.
I'm a classic kind of date guy. I think I like just going on for dinner. Yeah. So then I can just talk. I just want to talk.
Yeah.
I just want to vibe check.
I hate dinner dates.
I love dinner dates.
Because I get too focused on the food.
That's a great bonding experience. The food, but I mainly want to go there to just talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's weird for me because every adult relationship I've been in, it's kind of been like there's kind of been like flirting, and we've liked each other even before there was even like a first date, so I've never had this kind of game that you needed to play on the first date where it's just like, do I invest, like how far do I investigate whether I want this person to be a romantic partner? Do we pursue it further? That sounds like a nightmare to me, actually.
Yeah, I mean, because adult dating is weird because it's more like fishing. Where you're like, people are when they're on a date, there's from after a certain age, there's like expectations as opposed to when you're like 20 and it's just like natural that you like each other.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. And
the reality sets in.
Yeah, navigating that is very tough.
Definitely.
Yeah,
so I think general vibe checks are always important. Don't be a dick, but also, be yourself.
But also, you scored a first date.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Don't fuck it up.
Dress nice. Don't dress too nice, though.
That means you are already a step above the should I confess to my crush guy. You know?
Have everything planned. Have the expectation that you might have to pay for everything, but be pleasantly surprised when you don't.
And just have fun.
Have fun. Dates are fun.
Just have fun.
Getting to know people is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Even if it doesn't work out, you met a new person.
When you get married, you can never date again. Unless you get divorced, then that's a pretty bad process. So enjoy your dates while you have them.
Totally. But yeah, that was our terrible life advice.
That was terrible.
Actually, well, some of it was pretty good. Others was very questionable.
Throw hands.
Yeah.
Just fight all of the time.
Don't stop fighting ever.
Punch everyone.
Just imagine all your interviewers naked.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a
always
it's called a casting couch, can't?
Yeah. Anyway, hey, look at all these patrons, though.
Thank you for joining, patrons.
Thank you for joining us.
Reminder that every single week we post an exclusive video to Patreon, and here's a little sneak peek of those.
Ooh, guys.
Good job.
Which go? I'm scared.
But for some reason, he's just dancing now.
He's just dancing. Oh god! Oh god! Help me! Help me!
So what are you waiting for? Join the Patreon now.
Yeah.
You can also get your name in the credits. Isn't that right, Joey?
Yes, that's right. If you head on over to patreon.com/trashtaste, you can do that and support the show in the process. Also, follow us on Twitter, send us memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. And it is your responsibility if you want to follow anything we said. We're just bantering.
We cannot be held liable for any mistakes.
We cannot be held liable. We're just bantering. You know how it works by now.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.